Tonight at 11, this is a fascinating trend, Zoe. So more Americans are leaving the United States for good, according to international experts.
Sarah, we know police is ready to everything.
Good morning from the Capital City.
Giving money to the problem, and so we're going to move.
Cities everyone is leaving in America in 2024. It's not just COVID anymore. People are leaving certain kinds of cities in the US, and it's because they're not happy. Today, we're looking at cities everyone is leaving in America in 2024. Which cities are they leaving, and why aren't they happy? It's a long story, but one we'll be getting into. And if you pay extra close attention, you'll see that these cities have a couple of things in common with one another. I'll spell it out for you later in the video, but for now, let's look at our first shrinking city. Portland, Oregon. Portland's growth took a turn after 15 years of going up. It started shrinking in 2020. Before that, Oregon saw lots more people moving in, growing by 10.6% from 2010 to 2020. But what happened from then to the present to make Portland's population go down? Even before 2020, Portland's growth had started to slow down. The US Census Bureau said from July 2020 to July 2021, Portland City lost 11,000 people. That's a big drop in population growth by 2021. In the next year, the Population Research Center at PSU found that Multnomah County, where all of Portland is, had 0.29% fewer people from July 2021 to July 2022. Portland is part of Multnomah County, along with Gresham. The Portland Metro Tri-County area also includes Clackamas and Washington counties, where most suburbs are. The Portland Business Alliance talked about these trends in its 2023 State of the Economy report. They said there are more empty offices downtown and crime is going up. Let's talk about why it's a big deal for a city to lose its population. Cities experiencing declining populations encounter significant challenges. One major issue is that the costs of maintaining infrastructure do not decrease in proportion to the population decline. As the pool of taxpayers shrinks, there is suddenly insufficient funding for maintaining essential services such as parks, roads, and sewer systems, leading to reduced services overall. This decline in the quality of life makes the city less appealing, prompting more residents to leave. Then, on top of that, property values plummet, and property owners find it economically unfeasible to upkeep their buildings. This deterioration contributes to the familiar urban decay observed in Rust Belt cities like St. Louis and Detroit. With that in mind, let's take a look at another city that suffers from this fate. Chicago, Illinois. Chicago is suffering from an ever-increasing urban exodus. The departure of residents from the Chicago metro area, encompassing suburbs like Naperville and Elgin, has surpassed incoming residents over the past 5 years, resulting in a net loss of at least 294,000 people. Only New York City and San Francisco have experienced more substantial population declines. The ongoing discussion centers on the question, why are so many people leaving the Chicago area? Involuntary decisions largely influence these relocations, with many working-class and blue-collar jobs disappearing from Chicago. A data report from the MacArthur Foundation studying Chicago Metro's population trends reveals that factors such as racial and economic inequity, coupled with a lack of affordable loans, contribute to the migration out of the region. Florida and Texas are the top destinations for these migrants, with a significant portion of the Black community relocating to Georgia. The Black community in particular faces a substantial rent burden, paying well over 30% of their income on rent, a trend that you might find quite present in the next city we're going to discuss. Another study indicates a population decline of 68,000 in Cook County between July 2021 and July 2022. According to recent US Census estimates, only Los Angeles County in California experienced a more significant population decrease. But Chicago has nothing on this next city. New York City, New York. Since 2016, New York City's population has been decreasing. In just October 2023, 25,300 individuals moved out, seeking homes elsewhere. Various reasons contributed to this. What did they find? In 2023, a study revealed many issues that citizens in the city had about their day-to-day living. Key concerns were crime, the high cost of homes, and poor schooling. Nearly 27% plan to leave the city within 5 years. Interestingly, 30% have been planning their exit for a while. They blame bad governance and soaring taxes in the city. Citizen safety issues are brought up. Some had plans to move because of locals scaring their loved ones away. Money matters were significant too. Participants discussed the steep cost of day-to-day living. Some people were suffering from an increase of nearly $800 per month in rent. This, of course, caused them to consider moving away. No one wants to spend more than half their salary just to live in a place. The survey also showed New York's awful suitability for raising children. 40% of respondents, including a significant 61% of black respondents, said that it's not an ideal place to raise children. Additionally, 26% were dissatisfied with the overall quality of education, contributing to a statewide debate on the expansion of charter schools. This desire to move away is troubling for New York, especially after losing residents during and after the worst of the coronavirus outbreak. New York City saw significant population declines in 3 out of its 5 counties, Queens, Brooklyn, and the Bronx in 2022. This was according to data from the US Census. Manhattan was unique, not following the common trend. Fewer people lived in counties like Westchester, Suffolk, and Nassau. Many residents moved out, but not a lot moved in. A hefty 67% of people agreed New York was too costly, as opposed to the 33% who disagreed. 49% of those surveyed felt New York was unsafe due to crime, with only 51% rating it good or excellent. The rise in crime during the pandemic was linked to relaxed bail and discovery laws. Retirement in New York was a concern for many. 60% believed it wasn't the best option, while 38% disagreed. Regarding the political system, 57% felt it didn't work for them, in contrast to 38% who believed it did. Democrats dominate New York politics. The suitability of New York for raising children garnered mixed responses, with only 60% stating it was good and 39% expressing reservations, including 41% of city residents and 61% of black residents. 1/3 of residents gave a negative rating to New York's quality of life, while 67% rated it positively. About 40% assessed the environmental quality poorly, while 60% rated it positively. In terms of weather, 40% viewed it negatively, while 62% appreciated the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. New York faces one of the highest combined tax burdens nationwide. Governor Kathy Hochul acknowledges that rising housing costs are causing an exodus, leading to proposed counteractive measures. The affordability issue in New York is largely caused by self-inflicted challenges arising from tax and regulatory policies, affecting various aspects, including healthcare, energy, and home ownership. The survey showed that Big Apple residents gave higher quality of life ratings than their suburban and upstate counterparts. This is different from the 2017 survey, where suburbanites and upstaters held a more positive view of their living situations. These issues with big cities are present throughout the country. So instead of jumping right into the next city to discuss, let's take a bit of an overview of America and see what exactly is happening. It's time to spell out the issue. Cities crammed with residents are losing people to sunny spots with beaches. California, New Jersey, and Connecticut saw more people leaving than coming in, giving Texas and Arizona a run for their money. Among the most searched states with at least 10,000 people checking in, North Carolina, Florida, and Colorado are having a heyday with more people coming in. Why? Well, the fear of crowded buses and apartment elevators made city dwellers pack their bags twice as much in 2020 compared to the years before. This trend didn't slow down during the pandemic. Remote workers discovered they could work from smaller cities, snag a cheap house, and enjoy nature right outside their door. Retirees joined the party, saying goodbye to the daily grind. The Southeast and the mountainous West got a population boost thanks to these newbies. Even though they aren't stealing the spotlight like in 2020, the top spots in 2023 follow the same script we've seen in recent years. Simply put, places where life costs less, the weather is steady, and outdoor fun is around every corner are where the action is. Expensive zones will keep seeing people wave goodbye, as the high cost of living becomes an even bigger headache. By the end of 2021, the US Census Bureau said that the country's population barely nudged, growing only 0.1%. This was the slowest since the nation was born. Blame it on fewer people moving in from other countries, more deaths, and fewer babies being born. But the population might be bouncing back, hitting a 0.4% growth rate by the close of 2022. Enough of the big picture though. This next city is suffering from a loss of population so severe that it makes New York City look like Delhi. San Francisco, California. People living in California's busy cities like Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Francisco are thinking about moving, and most people prefer to leave San Francisco for another place to call home. Despite this, fewer are leaving compared to 2022, thanks to home prices that are almost 10% lower than the highest point. San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles are seeing more people leave than other areas. Usually, high-cost job locations are most common for moving away. People look for places where homes cost less. For example, many from Los Angeles go to Las Vegas, as homes there cost roughly half as much. Back in October 2023, Sacramento, California was a top pick for people looking to change cities. Here, houses carried a tag of roughly $578,000, a big drop from the usual $1.5 million residence found in San Francisco. Coincidentally, this pricey city was the chief source of Sacramento's newcomers. So, at the end of the day, pricey housing, bad education, quality of life, and remote working are the reasons behind people abandoning some cities. Leave a comment below if we missed any cities, and be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.